The Nissan Kicks has gone through some major changes. It is no longer just a tall front-wheel drive hatchback that's primarily bought by Avis. But in spite of its new style and added functionality, this has the same heart. Finding something cheap can be great, but sometimes suspicious. For instance, I could buy a smart 4K camera that flies for less than half the cost of a new GoPro. At that point, I'm just wondering, where are they cutting corners? I had similar thoughts when I first heard about the new Kicks. On the surface, it's got a competitive amount of space, the interior looks sharp, you can get some nice features, and all-wheel drive is now available. What's the catch? From a design standpoint, I think Nissan hid the budget pretty well. From the rear, I think it has a first-gen Murano kind of funk. And up front, I think it's cool that the lighting is a visual extension of the wide grille, and we have this big, bulging hood that hints at the beast that lies underneath. But here's where Nissan starts to save some money. The S-Grade is Versa basic. We're talking steel wheels with covers, unpainted mirror caps, and door handles. For 23 grand, you're not gonna hear me complaining about any of those things, and if you want more, you can get it. My SR here is going to have some retro-looking alloys, some nice silver accenting, the two-tone roof, and even a 360 view camera. Not the greatest one, but the fact that it's there at this price is impressive. The cabin follows the same rule set. In its cheapest form, you're gonna have hard plastics, a vinyl-wrapped wheel, basic tech, and manual HVAC with physical controls, which I actually prefer anyway. Spend like you have your enemy's credit card, and the Kicks cabin becomes one of the better in this segment. You can get a heated steering wheel, a crisp yet not too punchy Bose sound system with headrest speakers, and a panoramic sunroof. Oddly enough, power seats or adjustable lumbar are unavailable. At 6'3", I do find these seats to be pretty comfortable. I have decent thigh support, and I think the seat back is well shaped. They should be easy enough to live with. I think the same about the infotainment. It's responsive, the resolution is all right, but through having the gauge cluster screen on the same plane as the infotainment, certain things can get blocked out by the steering wheel, like the turning signal indicators or part of the speedometer. And with the SR, there's capacitive climate controls. Thankfully, most adjustments don't require an extra step. Quality is a mixed bag. Nissan paid attention to the areas that you notice first. Soft touch for where your knees will rest, soft touch on the dash, nice contrast stitching. Like I said earlier, other specs won't feel as premium, but here in most areas it is good. I did notice some awkward panel fitment, and my seat creaks a lot for only having 9,000 miles. Storage and passenger space aren't a strong suit either. The cup holders are nicely shaped, but the center console can only hold a few chicken tenders or a wallet. The back seat is enough to work for a small family, though tighter than many competitors, and it does not offer console vents. I think the trunk is a little bit more competitive. It's nice and tall, and every model will come with a spare tire under the floor. Like many of its foes, Nissan is saving some money underneath the hood. This naturally aspirated 2-liter inline-4 doesn't have much kick or punch. And I've even noticed that we already have some belts squeaking here under 10,000 miles. Hooked up to this continuously variable transmission, you can expect to get to 60 in around 10 seconds. That's going to make it among the slowest in the segment if you care. Numbers aside, passing on the highway hasn't been a problem for me, but it could be an especially long and noisy chore for people hauling their families or stuff at high elevation. The whole point here was to give you enough power, but also give you simplicity and great gas mileage. Nissan says you can expect around 34 on the highway, and I found that easily achievable. Even when I'm not driving it nice like I am today, I'm still getting over 30 miles per gallon. It's not quite at the level of efficiency that you get with the hybrid, and most electrified cars also have a lot more passing power, but this will save upfront cost, and there's no battery to worry about in 15 years either. Just a transmission. You know, we'll talk about that here soon. But as a whole, I think the engine and transmission are pretty much on par for the class. And, you know, the same could be said for the all-wheel drive system. You do have a snow mode, which can use the brakes to try to redirect torque side to side. You can send a maximum of 50% to the rear axle. Nothing special, but the fact that Nissan offers this with all-wheel drive now for 24 grand gives it a leg up over any other competitor, especially the front drive only Chevy Trax. However, I think the area where you're gonna really feel this budget is in the suspension and platform. So even here with the all-wheel drive model, which gets independent rear suspension versus the torsion beam with the front wheel drive, when you hit bumps mid-corner, it kind of skips about a little bit. And I would say that every subcompact crossover that I've driven in the last 2 years does feel more settled than this. And when it comes to comfort and forgiveness, I also find this to be underwhelming, but acceptable. It's a little harsh. The average person who just wants A to B transportation, I don't see this being a deal breaker to them, but if you live around some really terrible roads, a Subaru Crosstrek is gonna be night and day better. One area where less can be more is handling, because there's really not much to this car. It's lightweight. With front wheel drive, this thing can even be under 3,000 pounds. That's made this a little playful, especially at lower speeds. It changes direction nicely. The steering feels tight, precise. There's a hint of feedback in there. This reminds me of driving a tall Versa. You also have good visibility here. This is a very easy car to drive. Even as you begin to reach higher speeds, it doesn't fall apart. Body roll is under control, but it's gonna be a bit noisy. Even after the engine dies down, we're still going to be met with a decent amount of road noise. A lot of the more expensive alternatives are quieter and come with standard lane centering, something the Kicks only offers in SR form. What I'm sure a lot of you are also thinking about is how well this will perform in the long haul. This is an all-new car. I can't talk about its reliability just yet, but we can talk about what happened with the previous generation. The biggest source of complaints was the finicky autonomous braking system. Though there were some other reports of climate control and infotainment bugs, ABS malfunctions weren't unheard of either, and some other folks were complaining about an engine stalling with the old 1.6 liter as well. Major powertrain failures were not common, but they did happen. The CVT transmission was not perfect, though I do think across the lineup it does seem like failure rates are way down from where they used to be with Nissans, and I think that's partially thanks to a 60,000 mile fluid change interval. Don't miss that. Owner reviews with the old car were split. The first few years of the previous generation seemed to give folks a good amount of minor issues. I hope that's not the case with the second gen, but time's going to need to tell. With the new car, so far, many people have reported that the infotainment screen will intermittently shut off, but that's about it. In 2025, a lot of subcompact SUVs offer similar ride quality and handling to their more expensive siblings. It feels like they start out with a more well-funded platform and then strip away things to bring down the price. I think the Kicks, for better or worse, is the opposite. It's lightweight and chuckable. It kind of reminds me of budget cars from yesteryear, but at the same time, it has the ride quality and noise of those cars as well. It's as if they started with cheaper bones and then pumped in fresh features and styling. Like the Versa, the Kicks is serving an important role due to its price point. So, should you buy one? Well, if you're looking for a small SUV that's 25 to 30 grand and you want something new with a fresh warranty and the latest tricks, then I think the Kicks is absolutely worth a test drive. Underneath the skin, it's a basic car for basic needs. If that's what you're looking for, then I think you'll be happy. But just like 99% of the time, you're gonna get what you pay for. Thanks for watching. And thank you to my channel members for helping me improve my videos. Consider joining for additional content. I'll catch you in the next one.